stage.
From minor skirmishes to full-blown confrontations, intra-party squabbles and political clashes have dominated the news space and captured our attention. Here with us in the studio to unpack this issue is a political giant, Barrister Steve Aurora. He is the caretaker committee chairman of PDP Ebonyi State. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure you're enjoying the weather.
Well, I think the atmosphere is interesting.
Absolutely. I will agree to that. So, sir, way back, even during the First Republic, you find out that there are a lot of disagreements, squabbles, skirmishes, confrontations, whatever, between party members. I recall the time of Chief Awolowo and his second, Akintola. They had a lot of fallout based on different political ideologies. Now, it leaves a lot to wonder about, because I know that psychologists say that for every conflict, there must be a resolution. But to this issue on ground, do you think there is an end to this? And do you think that there will ever be a positive resolution within the party, following every kind of clash or squabble among political colleagues?
Well, thank you very much. I thank God we alluded to the fact that Nigeria is a beleaguered nation with checkered history. We have had cases of trials in the past, multifaceted challenges, multifarious problems at different levels of politics. And whenever you find two different factions or more, or even individuals in contestation, vying for positions, what you see is that sometimes there will be deep-seated animosity, there will be conflict, there will be fracas. It could be volatile sometimes. And, but that's the fragile nature of our democracy. And these are constants we must have to contend with. So they are not like aberrations. They are
necessary
constants.
evil.
So, okay, so now narrowing it down to PDP, what is actually the problem with PDP at Ebonyi State? Some people might want to align it or relate it with the fact that the former governor was of PDP, and now it seems he's tilted towards APC, an opposition party, and so the center couldn't hold. Obviously, as it couldn't hold, there are will I call it his fans or the people, his followers, that could split it. So what actually is the problem with PDP Ebonyi State?
Well, I think first of all, let me disabuse your mind from the word problem being inserted there. Most of the parties have their own challenges.
Yeah,
sure.
That's number one. Number two is that whenever you see a leader of the party in the mold and shape of a governor leave the party for another party,
yes, there's
bound to be implosion as to who controls the party, where will the order emanate from, who pays the piper, sometimes it plays the tune.
Basically. So
that's part of the problem too. But as it stands today in Ebonyi State, just under this year, I think this is the third committee being set up, but for the first time they're bringing somebody outside the shoes of the state
yes,
to man this office, showing that, it's been, a very difficult task to manage, and they must have tried their best, and somehow it's not working. So we need the inclusion of an external body to come to remedy the situation. So as it stands, I've tried to do a post-mortem of what is before me, and I find out as not so much a big challenge. Okay. The elders of the party are there. The person who also led the party in terms of the candidate of the party in the last election was a major force to reckon with. Okay. But this party, I tell you, cannot thrive except the two sides also merge. I do expect that if as opposition party now, they're going to knock on the doors of power to unseat the present government or take over the reins of power, because that's the essence of political parties. You have to have a kind of spirit of unison, spirit of oneness, and concerted efforts towards achieving this. So the aim and efforts I'm making is to unite the two extremes.
Absolutely.
To find results. Yeah.
So, sir, do you think that there could be, actors from outside of the PDP that would want to fuel some of these, issues within the PDP?
Well, every option is on the table. it's not impossible.
Can't
These are
rule it
one
out.
of the intrigues, intricacies, and complexities of politics, and you can't rule out anything. But then, the most important thing is to focus on the goal to be scored. The objective is the task, and our eyes are glued on the job. Our own is to make sure that we find a very good party, that has very qualified officers of the party that are dispassionately working for the party to achieve result, without, irrespective of their leanings. You have to come out and respect the rule of law, respect the constitution of the party, the interest of the party first, before individual interest.
Okay, so
Okay.
what are some of maybe punitive measures, for lack of a better phrase? Assuming you have some party members that are into, anti-party activities, are there punitive measures to ensure that these guys, are really taken care of, so that as your eyes are on the goal, you don't have much distractions from within, members of your party?
Well, I'm not interested in the stories of fabulists, concussionists, and peddlers of street-level mendacity. I'm interested in facts.
Okay.
So before such indictments must be established,
First.
for there to be requisite punishment. And party has internal mechanism via the constitution through which such persons will be punished.
Dealt with.
But at the moment, I'm looking for people in different parties to come back to PDP. I'm not so much interested in punitive measures.
So
I'm
because-
interested in breaking the ranks of the opponents and getting them towards my own party.
So it was okay. That's almost like well, paying teeth for that. But you are trying to galvanize. There's a work of galvanization of some sort that you're doing in PDP Ebonyi State. Now, when would you say this issue? You said it's not a problem. When would you say the issue of this thorn umbrella? The umbrella seemed to be torn. When would you say that this torn umbrella started, and when will it stop?
Well, I won't say exactly when it started, but I've given you, a clue that if a governor as a leader of the party, because one thing is very clear about Ebonyi, every gladiator of power, every person that's a protagonist in the business of politics in Ebonyi, all started with PDP. So PDP is the rock upon which they stood to become whatever thing that have become in this
You
country.
think so? Some people.
I'm
would-
not thinking so. I know so.
Okay, so because why I said some people would beg to disagree, because coming back, I'm moving beyond Ebonyi State. You're a PDP
Okay.
stakeholder, or like a personnel in PDP. Beyond Ebonyi State, when the torn umbrella, not in Ebonyi, in PDP started, because I noticed sometime last year it seemed like they had two factions. In fact, at some point, people were confused. Are they three now? At what point did this emanate? Because I believe Ebonyi is just one state, but it seemed to have cut across other states. And a lot of people would say it might also be one of the things that mitigated against PDP during the election.
Well, I think your question is somehow limited to Ebonyi, if I'm correct.
No, it's beyond that. It's PDP in general.
Okay, in general, I don't think we have clear functions in PDP.
Okay.
So that was national body. PDP is still united, but opposition parties will always make news around PDP so that we can to destabilize the party and keep the party at bay.
Yeah.
And if you also look at every other party, including APC and Labour, there are some indications or, there are feelers of disputes and discord within their ranks. So, but we are not worried about that. You should be concerned about your party. Put your party in a quality position where it can win the interest of the masses. We are living in an environment, in a society, where extremities of poverty and wealth lie side by side. And people are sick and tired of watching, democracy get eviscerated in their eyes before them. So we are interested in the leadership recruitment process, and not just for the PDP to come, but for the people to bounce back with the right caliber of personalities to govern this nation and take it away from the dire straits we have found ourselves in.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we talk about leadership, and transparency for me is one of the key, and every other person would want to agree with that, and that also brings accountability. Who within or without PDP do you think caused these issues? Who do you think are the causes of these issues in PDP?
Well, your question appears to be stereotype still, because I've been trying to convince you that in PDP we don't have what I call major crisis, but there are, indications of
you said
discontent.
Yes.
On one side or the other.
Yes.
But not necessarily conflict.
So
as to warrant implosion within the party.
Oh, okay. But for the issue you mentioned, who could be responsible or is responsible for those things happening? Because what they call a Robin Hood, is it Robin or Batman? I don't know if you know that movie, to dilute it just a bit, who always comes to help absorb whatever situations. That's what you're doing in Ebonyi State for PDP. Now, who could be held accountable for the uprise?
Like I've told you, immediately after the last general election in Ebonyi, the party lost, at least on paper.
Yes.
I don't want to go into all the issues arising from that election as to the quality of conduct or the quality of or the exemplary conduct of INEC or otherwise. Mm-hmm. But the final result showed that PDP lost in the election. At least the court was able to unequivocally state this. But after that, from all the investigations I've done, remember I'm very new on the saddle.
Yes.
But it's not, I don't shirk responsibilities. I'm doing my job very critically, and I believe we'll find results. So I knew on one side is the aspirant of the party who spent huge amount of money trying to win for himself and for the sake of the party. He was the flag bearer of the party. He worked so hard. But there were also other leaders of the party who founded the party, who sacrificed everything for the party to be alive, for every other person to enjoy.
Yeah.
If we didn't have a party, there couldn't have been any platform for anybody to run.
For the person to stand, yeah.
So these two blocks are very indispensable in my eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just note about the blocks, whether you caused the problem or didn't cause the problem. What I know is that we have friction. And that friction, I've been diligently speaking to either sides to find a common balance. And remember that the leader of the party in the Southeast today is the governor of Enugu, who has also been making very serious moves silently to ensure that he restores peace in Ebonyi too. Okay. The national body must also take a bit of my plaudits from this table, because they have equally worked assiduously well to ensure that Ebonyi is united. So I'm only just the anchor man.
Okay, Barrister. Just a little bit of table shaking, if I may. The recent outings of the minister, Honorable Minister for the FCT, Wike, who is a PDP man, do you think by omission or by commission, directly or indirectly, his actions have had some sort of negative impact on the political integrity of the PDP?
Well, of course, I speak from my mind all the time. I do not, like I said, I don't shirk responsibility. I don't distort facts. My answer is a yes. Because it appears an aberration to be in a party and be working for the other party.
Yes.
In all ramifications, it's a bit disturbing. And it's up to the leadership of the party to take care of this matter. It does not, the body is not on the subnational. It's within the national leadership of the party to find the political courage to deal with this matter.
You are the chairman of a 15-man committee, if I understand that. Who are those in that committee? Or is it a closed-door committee of some sort?
Of course, there are many persons in the committee. The only 2 persons are outside. Were brought in from another state.
Okay.
So
Myself
what is
and the secretary of the committee, Barrister Pascal Okwani.
Okay.
The rest are from Ebonyi State, representing each local government out of the 13.
Barrister, what is the mandate of this committee?
Well, the mandate of the committee is very simple. create an enabling environment, bring peace upon them, reconcile the warring factions or any conflict emanating from Ebonyi, and make sure that we move as a united body towards our congresses, and also to, of course, conduct free and fair, congresses that will introduce new party officers to take over. Then we'll hands off.
So what should Ebonyi State actually be? What should they expect from PDP Ebonyi State? What's
going forward?
Going forward, because I believe they have followers in Ebonyi State. What should they expect from PDP?
I think I've been led down and very exhaustive when it comes to explaining what we have come to do. We want rejuvenation of the party. We want a renaissance. We want a rebirth. We want to, create an atmosphere that will hold people back to PDP and give them the platform, for plurality of opinion. Right. We want a situation where the people of Ebonyi will have another chance to cling on to power in a more decent and productive way. So this is what PDP has come to do in Ebonyi. PDP, Ebonyi is synonymous with PDP. It's just about presenting candidates capable of winning elections.
Yeah. So back to your mandates, the committee's mandate. My question is really simple. How long has this committee, been for, and what would you say has been the impact so far in Ebonyi State? Well,
for 3 weeks, what seemed impossible, we have commenced this job, is almost becoming impossible. It's almost becoming possible because we're getting the parties to talk now.
Got the parties to the table.
Yes, to the table. And already the national board is also working very closely with me. Good. We have the party cards that we have distributed so that members can also buy. The forms for the elections, for the congresses actually, I have also received. The other committees that came never received such opportunities.
Okay, amazing.
Of the distrust.
Yes.
So that yawning gulf of distrust, that abyss of discontent, are things I'm climbing down on by the grace of God with the help of other committee members.
That also says that there is a bit of transparency from what you're explaining. So you said earlier that one of the things or suspicions on the table is that what might be causing the fraction within the party could be from opposition parties, right? What are the things you're doing to curb such, to shut that tunnel, in case there are fishes coming in from that tunnel?
I wouldn't know what will happen after my reign as the chairman of PDP in Ebonyi. But now,
yes,
such incursions, don't issue as threat to me. If you want to run party business, you must stand out. And you must canvass, you must have strong arguments upon which the followers should come. And I'm saying that PDP is synonymous with Ebonyi. And Ebonyi indigenes love PDP. What you are seeing that APC has taken over in Ebonyi was a product of an accident of some sort. And today, yes, we are not even blatantly condemning the government in Ebonyi. It is not part of our style. But strong opposition becomes an enabler for even the government to perform better. So from every sense of judgment, it is good that we have a strong opposition as PDP, and with the ultimate aim of taking over power. But as it stands, everybody within the rank and file of PDP is beginning to feel an impulse, beginning to feel a sign that there is a rebirth of the party in Ebonyi, that the era of dispute will soon be over.
Barrister, so would you say, just a yes or no, if you don't mind answering that, but you're saying yes or no, is PDP Ebonyi, is it transparent?
100% transparent. I think that's more than a yes.
Oh, okay.
So can you give us categorically some of the indicators that will show that PDP Ebonyi is transparent?
The indicators are very clear. Okay. Because of the negotiations, because of the peace process, we have not followed strictly the timetable of the PDP. The National Board has excused us because they want us to find lasting peace before decisions are taken about the congresses. Because these congresses, will determine the quality of leadership recruitment process. If you don't get it right, even idiots can govern us. So what it means is that for you to go into actual politics and churning out of quality personnel to lead us in this nation as a whole, the processes must begin within the political parties. And the implication is that you have to get it right at that level. Otherwise, you find a government that will be viewed only from the angle of crass absolutism, ethnic, chauvinistic tendencies and religious bigotry.
Okay.
Engraved corruption. These are things you must have to foreclose if you work hard within the party.
Yeah.
Eventually, in this country, individuals can come out and stand for elections. They must pass through the party.
Right.
And the party must wake up to the reality that this country needs a kind of rebate. To find that rebate, you must make sure that individuals who man the party, who manage the party affairs, have, that ability to play along the sensibility and temperament of the ordinary citizen. Meaning that there should be probity, there should be rectitude, there should be integrity, and there should be credence in the quality of the individual. So I'm more worried about the Nigerian question than even what is happening in PDP. But the PDP case is just an introduction towards getting it right. So that's why we're fighting within PDP to ensure that anybody who finally emerges as a leader in PDP that wants to pretend over other recruitment processes that will get into candidacy must be the right person.
You're saying that you're trying to build a system that works, that churns out.
Beautiful.
But then,
Okay.
sorry, Chi, but then, still on your mandate, your committee mandate of bringing parties involved to the table, what are some of the challenges, your committee, is facing within the party, in the field, to see that your mandate is accomplished?
Well, to answer your question, you're having a committee in a state that hasn't got a leadership in terms of you are not in charge of the government. Definitely in a practical sense of it, if you have the government, the party becomes a bit buoyant to run its activities.
Buoyant in what sense? Financially?
Financially, that's the truth.
Political will?
Not about political will. The will is there. The will is about who leads the party. And today, even in terms of finances, we are not worried. Before we took over there, but we knew there was no governor on the side of the PDP. We knew we are going to face, challenges when it comes to monetary issues. But that's not the primary problem. The primary problem is to get our people to work together. The opposition, the secret of the opposition is not about how wealthy or not. It is how united you are. If you are united as an opposition party, you have everything going for you.
So, okay, people are saying, okay, I might delve in and out, there are speculations, like take for instance the protest that happened in Kenya and the fact that even when the president called for a negotiation, the people are like, we're tired of this whole shenanigans, this whole, we just keep going back and forth with you, we are tired. Now, PDP has been a party that has been for a long time, like you also rightly said that, or you said rather, that some other parties are on offshoots of PDP. Now, are there fears that, or what is PDP putting in place to purge, to be able to make the people know, say, it's not the PDP that you think will give you their word and they don't fulfill it. We say a thing, they are not just about politics, who just says things that they don't want to fulfill. Now, this is beyond just contesting, knowing the tough that this and this is a new PDP. We are rising not just from the ashes. We want to set things right, or is it returning to status quo like what it was before?
Excellent question. In the first instance, the yawning disparity between the cost of things in the market in the past under PDP and the cost of things today. The details are very clear. You know the exchange rate, the worth of your naira today, and what it used to be under the PDP.
Yes.
You know the difficulties in even accessing your money sometimes to the bank under this regime. You know the cost of fuel. You know that everything has gone astronomically up.
Yes.
And Nigerian people are suffering. PDP needs no further campaign. The performance of the ruling party today has campaigned for the PDP. So what the PDP needs to do is not only to, cash in this opportunity.
So
they need to take advantage.
I will go that thought because I need the people to just keep listening. Just stay glued to your TV. I know you are interested, but just stay to your TV. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Yeah, you're welcome back from that extensive break. That's because we wanted you to take a chill pill and we'll get back because it was getting hot. I don't know who was feeling it. This is still a new day, yes, on Signature TV. And don't forget you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Thread, right? On TikTok, rather. So on all of our social media handles, on Instagram is Signature TV Official. On Twitter is Signature TV Official. And on TikTok it's still Signature TV Official. And don't forget, go to YouTube and subscribe. Yes, press that subscription button. Then you can also get our, anytime we come on air, then you would know. And also don't forget to press the notification button. Before we took that break, see as I was running it because it was getting too hot. So even my mouth now is not it's hot already. Before we took that break, we'll have a very distinguished guest in the person of Barrister Steve Aurora. I have to, it needs to, I can't just call that name like that. So it's Barrister Steve Aurora, the caretaker chairman, PDP Ebonyi State. And he was on the question that we asked, which I tried to liken to what is happening in Kenya with the protests, that even when the president called for a negotiation, the youth were like, see, we are tired of whatever it is you want to dish. We are tired, What is PDP doing to let us know? Because people are actually tired of the previous governance, whether it's the present one, the present party, or is the party that was before their predecessor, or their whatever, the ones that came before them. Either way, people are tired and we want something fresh. Want to breathe fresh air. What is PDP doing to make us feel that if we are going to let them into our lives again, that they are coming to give us fresh air? Because it happened to look like most of these politicians, I had to, every time, almost every day now, and I check the meaning of politics or who is a politician. And the real meaning isn't what we are seeing. So when someone calls you a policy, be like, God forbid, it felt like it's a curse. Yes, so, but now we are asking, what is PDP doing to make us know, or to let the people know that this is a breath of fresh air, that they shouldn't yank them off?
Well, let me start with this premise. Every rational Nigerian should pray for Mr. President and wish even the ruling party well. Indeed, if the government is thriving and the economy is booming, it will be better for my children. That's why when you win, we pray for you to succeed. But then we can't distance ourselves from the facts and truths before us. If we live in a country where about 63% of that country is deemed to be multidimensionally poor, meaning about 133 million Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. And we live in a country where about 73% of your population is captured in the misery index. You know what that means. That means they're passing through excruciating pains. You live in a country where out of 150 countries of the world, according to Transparency International, of course, Corruption Perception Index, Nigeria is ranked about 150, I think 150 out of 180. It is not a country we should start celebrating. So we need a revival. We need a turnaround. We need a situation where we have to engage the reverse gear and recover this country.
Absolutely.
We need to start approaching measures that can return the country and narrow the chasm, the trust deficit between the governed and the government, a yawning chasm between the electorate and their leaders. So, if you look at that situation now, like I alluded before the break,
Yes.
PDP is being campaigned for by the APC. We are witnessing a free fall in terms of leadership standards.
Because
One, you know the cost of things in the market, from the bag of rice down to every other item.
Yes.
They have skyrocketed. It's gone to an astronomical rise. The cost of fuel, the cost of tariff, airfare, every other thing in the country. Poor people can no longer access it. Even middle class people can no longer access them. So that's where we have found ourselves. So we are in a dire strait, and we need a total turnaround. We need to rewrite the credentials of this country, and it behoves on PDP to do this. If PDP held sway in the past, and we were surviving with dollar to only 160,000 naira for $1,000, and today it's about 1.5 or thereabout, we can do it again. That's why I talk about quality leadership recruitment process. PDP must get it right through, because we must find a candidate that people can trust. The people are watching very closely. They are no longer passive. They are no longer interested in just sinking into recriminations and depression or disillusionment. They are out. That's exactly why even in Kenya, you can see what is happening in Kenya. So in this country today, the electorate have suddenly become vigilant. The masses have become vigilant. They are interested in the capacity and quality of the personnel to govern them. It is very dangerous to submit to an inferior person as your leader. So Nigerians have woken up. They are ready now to battle for it. Yeah. And every political party must be very careful about the choices they make. So the promise is that the time for what you see today, which borders so much on identity politics, ethnic profiling, engraved corruption, crass absolutism, profligacy in leadership, it must be totally removed from the political lexicon of our very fragile democracy. And PDP is poised to do that.
Great. Barrister, you just alluded to a lot of indices, especially human development indices, being on the negative as far as our democracy is. Now, my question to you is, with your experience and your position as a PDP chieftain, what are the mechanisms that specifically that PDP has put on ground come 2027? Because a while ago we were discussing, and it's obvious that APC from the last election they've put some measures and mechanisms on ground to ensure that they are returned come 2027. Now, what is the PDP doing specifically to dismantle the stronghold and ensure victory?
Well, there's nothing like stronghold. What I've presented is a leadership that is capitulating in all standards. So, like I said, they've campaigned 70% for the PDP. What the PDP needs to do now is to reorganize their internal mechanism of winning elections, which is choosing the right caliber of persons to lead their party through the congresses, from ward to local government, state, and the convention.
Are you assuring us?
Having done, if you actually have succeeded in doing that, you begin to also look for quality candidates in a transparent primary elections that will enthrone quality governance, championed by those individuals. If you don't do this, the masses will vote resoundingly against the party.
I hear
so the party is worried about the choice of personnel to come.
I hear you talk and it's sounding like something promising. But beyond the promise, I'm like, what is the difference between PDP and APC? Because it looks like it's just the same people. They just changed location. You just change pockets. I had money in my right pocket, the same 1,000 naira. I put it in my left pocket. It's the same 1,000 naira. It's not a new one. What is the difference? Because letting PDP come up, what's the difference between PDP and the ruling party? I didn't even mean. What is the difference between PDP and the ruling party? What can people say, oh, this is a new thing that PDP is going to do? Because you are saying, if we say, oh, who knows, if I left PDP, they might have degraded, they might have dragged the country worse than it is. So what is the difference between PDP and the ruling party?
Well, the difference, like I've always maintained, lies so much in the character of the individual person. Take, for instance, the Labour candidate in the last presidential election.
Yes.
Of course, has been an Afghan candidate, has been a PDP candidate in the past. So it's about the individual person. I don't want to worry so much. Political parties are mere conduit pipes through which aspirations are fulfilled. By using the instrumentality of the law, because you can't run for the election as an individual candidate. You must look for a political party. So it behoves on the political party to find a candidate that people can trust. And the difference is very clear. Those who managed PDP between 1999 to 2015 left the party in a poor position where Nigerians could breathe. Today, the neck is on Nigerian people. They can no longer breathe. They can't manage, they can't churn out normal life anymore. Things are extremely difficult that Nigerians are finding it difficult to even survive on a daily basis. Except you want to submit yourself to elitist deceit or intellectual dishonesty. Otherwise, the truth is very clear for everybody to see. So it's not just about the party. While I'm canvassing for PDP, I'm canvassing for PDP with a proviso that you must provide a party with the requisite brand of candidates that can win elections and support Nigerian people if you are to write the credentials of this country.
You sound like a pro-Nigeria. Now, I'm going to ask this a very deliberate question because, like you said, the candidate for the Labour Party for the last election was a former PDP member. It seems as if, from the speculations of people, that when either PDP or the ruling party wants to make their selection for who would be their flag bearer, who would chairman, they will present as a candidate, they go for someone who could be, I don't want to use the word corrupt, who they could manipulate, who isn't for the people, but for the party. So most times it appears that we have candidates who are just pro-party, not pro-Nigerians. And at the end of the day, you have them trying to feed the pockets of their godfathers, of the ones who re-elected them, of the ones who supported them, instead of serving the country or the state or the nation. So how do you analyze that, sir?
Well, what we share in common is the vision that we want a good country. We want to recover our country. We want a country where the poor people can mingle with the rich, where my children can be in school with the children of the big men or even the poorer people, where the poorer majority can breathe again. That's what we share in common. But the truth is that you also have to look at your history. You can't do this without looking at your history. I've told you previously that we have had a PDP run the show in the country. And they brought in people like Okonjo Iweala and other persons internationally from the diaspora to do something here, to influence what we are doing at home. And you can see where they left the economy. And today, the country is living on borrowing. So it's not just about the party like I said before. It's about characters that will define the terrain of politics in the country. And if PDP also as a party fails to get it right, PDP or we qualify. So it's the body on the shoulders of the party to find leaders within the rank and file of the party that will go for the best candidates for these parties in a transparent way. Marketable candidates that will ask for vote and Nigerian people will vote for them. If you do it dispassionately, if you do it without recourse to pecuniary interest, if you do it without bringing in ethnic profiling or identity politics or corrupt practices or other chauvinistic tendencies, you are going to find quality personnel that can administer justice in this country, bring leadership to the doorsteps of ordinary people, and Nigerians will begin to believe again. Yeah. Can you imagine the number of persons leaving the shores of this country? Go to embassies and see what is happening and how much Nigerians are being unfairly treated abroad. This we can change.
Barrister, I hear you. And you keep reiterating the importance of bringing in credible people, bringing in people that we can trust by, the political parties. As much as it really sounds good on paper, I don't know if you can give us a brief rundown of some kind of a framework, by the PDP to ensure that credible, transparent leaders are eventually brought in. Because you keep saying, yes, it's important we bring in credible leaders, but when push comes to shove, yeah. What are the, stepwise framework that the PDP is putting or has put in place to ensure that these credible, leaders are brought into, the system?
Well, the answer is very simple. We don't need to romanticize the words here to find our solution. The solution lies in the credibility of the party's congresses to come.
Could you expound on that?
Yes. If the party allows transparency in their congresses and makes sure that there are no encumbrances or undue interferences in the build-up to those congresses, and we get the right persons to manage the party, it will give us a platform to present the kind of leadership that Nigerians are yearning for.
Okay, so I'm asking, if you find someone, you as a person, find someone who isn't ready to grease the palm of the party, but is ready to serve. Because for me, all these places of leadership, all these places of positions are places of leadership, and a leader is meant to be a servant. So if you find someone who is ready to serve, but who isn't ready to grease your palm, you, sir, or the palms of every other person, would you give the person your ticket?
Well, let me answer you this way. Of course, we have recalled the fact, we have reiterated the fact that Nigeria is in distress. It's either we get it right or never now. So because of the pressure, the weight of pressure on leadership today, and those involved within the political class, I think there is, a serious question mark on the choices we made in the past. So we need to get it right now. Having said that, we did make a comment about politicians. So we grapple with the definition of a politician. Yes. So, but on the lighter note, I will tell you that a politician is a conflicted individual with split personalities. On one side, he is capable of provoking productivities, good results, excellent government administration of or his vision of leadership with candor, dexterity, and brilliance. On the other side, he can snowball into an ethnic bigot, and of course, dismantle the remaining good things that we find in this country. Wow! So we are looking at how to bring persons that will tilt towards the poorer majority, that will tilt towards the Nigerian people, that will tilt towards rejuvenating the society and bringing back the country to where it used to be before we move forward. So that's what it is. We don't have any other choice than to do the right thing now. So there's an intense pressure even on PDP, not just the ruling party, to get it right so that it will be a credible alternative and so that we can win our elections in the country. It's not about bringing money, because we did ask a direct question whether if somebody doesn't come with money. if you are an umpire, you have to lead by examples. And if you put pecuniary interest forward, you have failed on arrival. So the idea of bringing money or not bringing money will solve problems instantaneously, but the major, in fact, you can only win the battle, but you lose the war. The war is how to keep on feeding your family, sustaining your family, and restoring the dignity of this nation. And living in a country where even your neighbors will now be your enemies. Because we can't continue, like I said, we are living in a country where extremities of poverty live side by side with extremities of wealth. And at a point, there will be implosion. So it's a serious matter beyond what we have conceived this morning. I wanted to see it from a broader perspective.
So, okay, Barrister, just a minute. Let's backtrack a little bit and talk succession plans. Because you find out in most states in Nigeria where the governor is leaving and brings in someone that's probably coached to take over from him. Now, I want you to take a broad look at our succession plans in Nigeria. How foolproof is it? Is it working out for democracy and politics generally? What are the things that we need to do to galvanize efforts to ensure that whoever that is succeeding, whomever, will run with the vision, of the state?
Okay, the first instance, I think there are certain indicators we have to look at. There are basic things we must have to do if we are to get it right in this country. In terms of leadership recruitment process and leadership recruitment ideology. First, how independent is your independent national electoral commission? So we need to look at that particular institution very well and bring back our institutions to be very strong and not having stronger individuals beyond the strength of the institutions. So the National Assembly needs to do something to give a better independence and lifeline to the National Independent Electoral Commission. Otherwise, we reduce it to National Electoral Commission. Remove that word independent.
Yeah.
That's one, both at the federal and at the state level. Secondly, we need to ethnicize our politics. We need to sanitize our politics. We need to kill that instinct of religious bigotry and ethnic chauvinism that have dominated the scene. Instead of going for quality, competence, we go for our own people.
Now leaves us with the question, who will bail the cats?
So we need the citizens. And the strongest office, as far as politics is concerned in Nigeria, is the office of the citizen. We need to recourse to that sense of nationalism and patriotism that should defeat the instinct of sectional politics. That's number one. Secondly, like I said, it is time to bring in even women in our politics. There should be a deliberate policy of inclusion of women. The men have done so well. It is time to bring in more women. If you look at some of other countries in this, in the world, you find that women have become presidents even. So there's a sense in which I feel the inclusion of more women will even help in this.
Just to chip in a bit, to just expand that, do you think a woman would do well as the president of Nigeria?
I have no doubt.
Given the history of some of the female politicians that we've had in Nigeria.
Let me go back to Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Okay.
The position she has today towers above a governor of a state, sometimes even a president of a country, is able to, distinguish herself. She has that innate ability to manage both resources and personnel. So there are many other Ngozi Okonjo-Iwealas in this country that can also contribute. So we need to find a system that ameliorates the pains, the suffering, deliberate amelioration of the pains of Nigerian people. We need to go back to agriculture, for instance. But we can't do that without having security. So we are already a country where insecurity has succeeded in decimating the trust we have in the country as a whole.
Okay.
So under PDP, was it to this extent? That's the question.
Okay, so I'll take a bit of something that seems like a deviation, but it's not, because it's still under PDP.
Yes.
Now, Wike, happened to be a former PDP member. That's the FCT minister, right? And it seems like he still has clout within the PDP circle. Is it that he's a force that PDP can't micromanage successfully and exit? Okay, like you said, you're no longer a member. Why does it seem like he still has a share in PDP or a stake in PDP? Why can't he be clamped?
Well, he hasn't said that he's not a member of the party. Let me correct that particular perception.
Okay. He hasn't?
Yes, he hasn't declared as not a member of the party.
Okay.
But the question is, as a member of the party, are you supposed to be in the cabinet of the opponent? Is the party supposed to loan the party's stalwart to the party's opponent for the sake of the Nigerian people?
Okay.
These are questions on the table of the national leadership of the party to take. Again, they must have the political will to punish offenders when, if need be. It is an aberration for a party man to be in one party and supporting a candidate of the other. And the party has an internal means of punishing such, people with dissenting spirit.
But wouldn't somebody say he is just being a citizen of Nigeria, supporting the government of Nigeria?
It's a debatable matter, like I told you. But I know that if you are supporting the candidate other than the candidate of the party, it's an anti-party.
Yes, Barrister, let me quickly take you back. I really do want to still take you back to inter-party squabbles. So I want to know, because a case in mind that just came to my mind now was that of Chris Ngige and Chris Uba in Anambra State. There was a falling out. I guess there was this power tussle. I don't have the details now, but they're usually falling out based on power tussles or different ideologies, whatever it is. So my question is, these intra-party clashes that could be for whatever reason, are they necessary evils? Or they are a means to a logical end? Or let me put it this way, do we need intra-party squabbles to move our politics forward in Nigeria? How has it helped us? And how do you think it will help us going forward?
Well, nobody prays for skirmishes. Nobody would wish for animosity. Nobody wishes for bickering. And no party, after all, will deliberately invite, disorderliness to its rank and file. But the truth is that whenever you have 2 or 3 human beings jostling for positions, even where they are not jostling for positions, you begin to see differences in characters. Your mien may differ from the other person's demeanor. And with that situation, you may have intolerable characters emanating from here or there. But so what you do in leadership of the party is that you understand that it's a state of normality. You expect that there will be conflicts. But what is important, do you have mechanism of resolving conflicts? And when such conflicts come, be bold enough and be courageous enough with the will to say this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing. And there's a sharp contrast between keeping peace and making peace. When you keep peace, you only make pronouncements. But when you keep peace, you go to the root of the matter to solve the problem so that the minds will be settled and the pains will ameliorate. So it is just very normal. So in parties, when such issues come up, like when I was secretary of PDP in Enugu, we had several issues, state issues.
Can you just speak one specifically and expand on that?
Yes, we had the situation where there was an interest from the then Senate Vice President, Senator Ike Nkwemadu, and the then Governor Sullivan Chime. And we are not afraid to take bold decisions in the interest of the party. The leadership of the party must be independent-minded, even if the money is coming from the government.
Okay, now being someone that is in somewhat government, you know, or even if you're addressing it from a party angle. You mentioned something about INEC being able to be really independent. Now, as a Nigerian and as a bit of an analyst, I want to borrow you now as an analyst. What can be done? What should INEC do to be independent? What should they do to be independent?
Well, I think we need to review the appointment of INEC chairman or the commissioners within INEC. If you can create an independent way of emergence, an independent means of emergence of the chairman of INEC or the commissioners, that would be very, very important. If we can have a cycle of producing, such chairmen or commissioners without having to nominate, that would be very important. Because if you are the leader in the ruling party and you are nominating, well, it will come with a measure of suspicion. There is a sense in which I feel that sectionalism, sentimentality, fervor, and biases may dominate your mind in the course of doing that. So that's on one side. Two, financing the INEC. There must be a distinctive way of financing the INEC without direct government influence.
So
from the national to the state levels,
okay,
they should be completely independent financially too.
And that's major independence. If you're independent financially.
So, because I want to ask now, this is Steve Aurora. Come 2027, are you looking at being an aspirant? Exclusivity now.
Well, when I was in secondary school, my government teacher, Mr. Inem, he used to say that future holds terror and blessings. So it behoves on God to make the right decisions. And as I'm looking at the terrain, we'll take our own decisions. We pray that those decisions will fall in tandem with the wishes of the Almighty God. So it's too early for anybody to begin to, make pronouncements, imagination.
You said something about, you kept saying, when you made reference to PDP, you said that what PDP should do, what they should do, what should be done. Now, straight to the point, are there measures in place as it stands now that PDP has done to make sure that come 2027, who they are giving us is someone who is credible, who is pro-Nigeria, who is a servant, not a dictator, not an oppressor, not someone who just wants to grease the palm of settle godfathers, settle politicians, and just relax and do what they want to do?
Well, I think I'll be recycling truism to answer your question, because I did allude to several points that should have taken this question to clearance. Because I did say, first, to present a quality candidate, there must be quality congresses that will find leaders that will man the primaries of the party. Out of the primaries, you now have candidates that will run for the party. Those candidates that are running for elections for the party are going to carry the burden of leadership on their shoulders in the event the party wins. Because the party to arrest them will drop out, and individual character, perception, ideology, philosophy may begin to come into the fray. So it is not a position to be thrown away.
Okay.
That's why from the blast of the whistle, we are concerned, we are worried, we are interested in the leadership recruitment ideology and leadership recruitment process, which begins from the party politics in the congresses. So, because if you bring wolves and crooked people only interested in pecuniary interest to be leaders of the party, they are going to mismanage the primaries of the party.
So in line with that,
and those who flaunt only money
yeah,
as what they can offer will emerge as candidates of the party with their dubious intent, to loot the treasure of the state.
So just following up with that, is PDP looking up to a merger with other parties, any other party, bigger party, smaller party? Are they looking at a merger between PDP and any other party?
Well, nothing can be foreclosed. I don't think anything can be foreclosed. Anything that will bring PDP back to power with an intent to genuinely govern the people for the public good will be acceptable. And having said that, it may be very difficult for that name PDP to be dropped. So you can have mergers with people coming in to join the PDP and retaining the name of PDP, but still being part of the cake.
Great, great. So, Barrister, I have these thoughts in my head. Still trying to take you back to the skirmishes and the confrontations, intra-party clashes. Do you think, yes, we understand the general mandate of the INEC, but do you think, or does INEC have jurisdiction to wade into intra-party conflicts, assuming all other ways to quell such confrontations fails? Can INEC, does it have any constitutional jurisdiction to wade into a particular party and quell whatever confrontations that may arise?
Well, on the face value, I would say no. But indeed, the INEC is used as a watchdog within the parties. So somehow they're part of the problem solving. Take, for instance, you can't conduct your congresses that is a very personal thing for the party without the supervision of the INEC. You cannot do your primaries, even when it's an internal party issue, without the supervision of the INEC. So if INEC comes as a watchdog, it behoves on you to be very transparent, to come with all standards of rectitude and probity to ensure that the right thing is done. Otherwise, of course, they will raise the red flag.
I think on a final note, because I want us to use maybe wrap up with this. You mentioned that even if your PDP could be open to a measure, right? And but you also mentioned something, retaining the name PDP. So is it not better? Okay, because there is this, how do I put it? Doesn't it seem like pouring a new wine in an old wine skin? Is it not better for a complete breakout, so that the beauty, because there is always beauty in every ashes. So the beauties in the ashes could stand out where they are, and the ashes could be where they are. Must there be this mixing of new wine in an old wine skin? Would it taste the same?
Well, everything is possible on the table. That's why I say all cards should be on the table. But we don't have to embark on a self-defeatist adventurism. PDP is the largest party in Africa. In terms of, the effect that they've enjoyed in the past. And today, the cost of things in the market reminds every woman who wants to cook that in the time of PDP, it was not like this. Those who can no longer access their farm because of terrorism, banditry, and all manner of kidnapping, now remember, under PDP, it was not like that. So PDP opens the door in terms of mantra. It has become a mantra. So beyond the facets of any other thing you can achieve by measure, you cannot go into self-inflicted problems. When you relegate the name that paves the way, the name that actually contradicts what we have today, on paper, at least. So PDP is a constant reminder that Nigeria was better and could still be better tomorrow.
Thank you
Great.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, sir.
Barrister Steve Aurora. I got it correctly. It's been a nice time sharing this moment with you, and I hope we take out something from here, and it's not just be mere promises or mere talks. It's what is obtainable, and what you're going to offer us is what is real. It's been nice having you, sir, and I believe this talk, it doesn't end here. We'll still have an extended talk later, maybe beyond now, in another program, another day. Thank you so much for being here on New Day.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Barrister.
Thank you very much.
And on that note, we close. I say it again, it's been a nice time spending this time with us on this segment, yes. But remember, don't go nowhere. We'll just take a short break. We'll be right back. There is sports still reloading. There is something that Spain did to Germany yesterday. We can't understand. I actually wanted to give it to Cruz because he's retiring, man. They should actually cut him some slack and let him just take this trophy to his name. But it didn't happen. So when we come back, we'll give you more on sports. Go nowhere.